Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
Yes. It is Saturday morning. We're in the building. I am not Mr. Controversy. It's H.O. Filling in, of course. And since Craig Kimball has a job now, got his first save. And being that it is for the hometown Chicago Cubs, I'll be Craig Kimball today. Of course, I'm not doing this by myself. The guy who keeps the thing stirred on this show, Mr. D Intellectual. What's going on, bro?
What up? What's going on?
All is well. Welcome to the 3-Point Conversion Lounge on this Saturday morning with my main man, G Money behind the glass, engineering the show. What up, G?
Yo.
There it is. Thanks for tuning in to one of the greatest shows on the weekend that you can get. 3-Point Conversion Lounge is here. We rocking and rolling on this Saturday morning. Of course, I'm H.O. Again, that's the intellectual. G behind the glass. Mr. Controversy is taking another PTO day.
Well, not exactly.
Not exactly.
He's
what they call it on
site.
On assignment.
On assignment.
Yeah,
yes, that's what it is. On assignment. Yeah, so be safe while you're on assignment, Mr. Controversy. So 3-Point Conversion, man, we got a lot to talk about, D. They say it's a slow time in sports, but I think this is where things get a little more emphasized, so to speak. A lot of more things are magnified, and we definitely go talk about that because we got some quick hits. We got some fighting in the big three. We got some stop it that's probably going to make you fall out of your seat. And we got some, some baseball talk. But more importantly, man, we got a special guest coming on that's, unbelievable. The Syracuse 8, if you have not heard, make sure you stay tuned because we got a special guest coming on that will kind of open some eyes up. And we're going to remove this rock that has been hidden for so long and get Mr. John Lobon to talk about the Syracuse 8. Also, Dr. Fowler will be calling in. We got some injury news and some things that we want to talk about. And, of course, we got on our mind. So we want to start off by thanking our sponsor, Sherm Beats, LLC. Salad Express, Cindy Cuts Barbershop with the Dwayne Chambers and Ortho Atlanta. Dr. Fowler is one of those docs that's over there. And D, again, you the man. Craig Kimball gets his first save against Atlanta. I just wanted, before we start, how did you feel seeing Freddie Freeman up 2-on Kimball's debut and, Freddie's most unappreciated player in baseball? How did you feel when that kind of came about?
Kind of worried. I'm glad he got about because I think the next day Freeman hit a bomb. I'm talking about just in the right field pole. I'm talking about he rocked it.
Yeah.
He did his thing, but we lost the series. But Braves out there doing their thing. I mean, even the series, even the one where I think it was Acuna hit the 2-run bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, he came in a perfect opportunity. He was batting right-handed, which that's all they could ask for.
Yeah.
Came in. And that's why anybody throw him a first pitch fastball when he pitch hitting. I don't know why, but if you do, you asking for what you get.
Go ahead, G.
I didn't see this alleged play that you're talking about, but of course, with him coming up to the Cubs, fans are excited. They're going to get a jersey. but there was one fan who got not a Craig Kimbrell, Craig Krimble.
I did see that.
I can understand if the R was off by one spot, but it was all the way on the other end of the name.
Know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. That's one of the people that get it made themselves. And he thought he spelled it right. Probably spell check got in there.
Or they ordered one of those sites where it's like you pay like $15.
Yeah, and they messed up. Somebody was ironed it on.
Exactly. All right, man. With that being said, G, let's jump into these quick hits. Quick hit sponsored by our good old guy Sherm Beats, as he continues to drop them each and every week. All right, the NBA will implement a coach's challenge at the upcoming Summer League in anticipation of using the rule in the 2019-2020 season. Coaches will get one challenge per game and can use the challenge only on called fouls, goaltending, basket interference plays when the ball is knocked out of bounds. The program has been used, this has been used in the G League for the last 2 seasons. D, your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm kind of old school, not kind of old school, very old school. It should be definitely, the eye, let the refs make the mistakes because no one is perfect. However, I could dig with this. The only thing I don't like is the call fouls.
Yeah,
that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like you gonna ask somebody, hey, that was a. Now I could definitely agree with the goaltending, the basket interference, and the knocked out of bounds. But the fouls, come on, man. I mean, the great thing about it is you only get one, regardless if you win it or not. You only get one, so that's the good thing. However, imagine 3 seconds left, right? Down by 2. Somebody go for that 3. And then they ask for the replay. I want that foul. It's for the championship. It's for all the cabooses. Game 7.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Or early in the fourth quarter, Draymond got 5 fouls. He bumps him on the screen. I want a replay.
And then that's a foul because it.
Now, 6 fouls. Right. Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to work. Moving on. California State Senate is moving forward with a bill that would allow college athletes to make money from their name and likeness. NCAA President Mark Emmert has threatened to disqualify California universities from championships if the bill is passed. Thoughts?
Dude, a gangster. Like, flat out. No, that's not happening. And a bill is also a bipartisan bill is being emerged from U.S. Congress that would allow college athletes to sign endorsements. But that's also on the heels of NCAA trying to change the rule of transfers.
Exactly.
To stop allowing them to be immediately eligible. However, a coach can leave whenever he feel like it and go and get on the next year. So I love what California is doing. That's great. They're always kind of a step above, like a one before, right? They always make a move. Like even with marijuana, you know what I mean? They did it after Denver, but with the law, they're trying to get people out. So they definitely doing things before a lot of people. So I like California doing it. But how you going to ban the whole California? You know how many colleges in California?
Yeah, I agree. You had something to say on it?
Like the NCAA is trying to hold on.
That's it.
They're trying to hold on.
It's getting there.
Because I think other states are going to adopt this too, to give the college athletes a chance to make some money off their likeness because people are already making money off of their likeness. This goes back to the Fab Five. Yep. This goes back to, well, that's the first instance I know of.
Right.
But the shoes that they wore, people were buying those shoes. The jerseys that they were wearing, people were buying those jerseys. They were buying a Michigan number 4. It didn't have Weber on the back.
Right.
But why would people buy a Michigan number 4?
I never forget. I was in 6th grade at the time, 6th or 7th grade. We was on the basketball team. That year, we called ourselves the Fab Five. Mm-hmm. All 5 of the starting 5. We had names, and we wore black socks because of them.
Right.
And that was the first year we had new uniforms. They were long and they were gold. So we were out there. I'm sorry, they were white, but we was out there. They were blue and white, but we was out there like, you know what I mean? Fab Five. That's what it was.
Wow. All right. Moving on. LeBron James gifted his 23 number teammate, not quite officially teammate yet, but Anthony Davis. So he will be switching back to the number 6, which he wore in Miami, but nothing has been made official.
So I want to stop with this narrative that Anthony Davis waived his $4 million trade kicker, and that's why he got the jersey. So I want to stop with that. Like, let's talk about from a business perspective, right? If you're Anthony Davis and you want to win, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to forfeit that $4 million? Yes, so that you can get another max player or you can get better players on the team. You know what I mean? I think LeBron gave it to him because I've worn 6 before. Right. I've been out of this jersey. Here, you can take 23 because I know why you do it. I can do 6 again. I don't think it had nothing to do with the $4 million, me personally.
Well, it's to make that money back, though, because the jersey sales are going to be astronomical.
I can see that part, but
because it'll be Anthony Davis getting
the 20
a new team, new jersey, and then with LeBron he changed numbers.
Right. I mean, I can see that,
so
but not on
those fans who got the Laker jersey last year probably had to go and get
another.
Yeah,
I can see it from that aspect, but not on the aspect of how most of the media is saying, like kind of like gave him $4 million for it. You know what I mean? I don't like that narrative.
No, that's not. What
also, the narrative is out that just like Kobe, he had 2 numbers in L.A. Is LeBron trying to do this as well?
No,
well, they're not being retired.
It's not going to happen.
They're not being retired like Kobe's. No. So
you can't tell LeBron fans that.
I mean, even for his 6 to be retired, in my opinion, like these next 3 years, what he got to win 3?
Look at
like even with those 3, you're still kind of like, eh.
Look, he went to 4 finals at Miami, and they might retire number 6.
May.
But I have discovered this. Okay, since it is all but known that he's going to switch to number 6. Eddie Jones previously wore number 6 in Miami, right, and he previously wore number 6 for the Lakers. So LeBron's favorite player is really Eddie Jones.
There it is. All right, moving on. The U.S. women's national team advances to the semifinals of the World Cup with a 2-1 win over France. Miss Megan Rapinoe scored both goals for U.S. They will face England in the semifinals on July 2nd. Can we bring it home, D?
Yeah. I think we're bringing it home. That's so dope. Me and the family was just talking about this. One of my cousins was asking, what's up with this soccer game? Dude, this the U.S. women's team, and they playing the host city, which was the first time that the defending champions played the host team in the in the cup.
Yeah.
So I think that's great for Megan to score both goals. I think that's even bigger after what she's went through with her not singing the national anthem. And it's kind of different how she gets treated as opposed to other people when they don't. But hey, we are going to get into that later.
Exactly.
But I think that's dope, man. And they're going to face England, which England is tough. They got a very strong back end, so we'll see. But I think they bring it on.
She has actually scored their last 4 goals, so she's killing it right now.
And I think that's the first time in history for back-to-back clinchers or something like that, like clincher games.
And also Alexi Lawless, who played for the men's team in the 90s, he picked France to win, and he said if the U.S. won, he would dress in a wedding gown in front of the Eiffel Tower. So be on the lookout for that.
I'm definitely looking for it. He probably wanted to do that anyway.
All right, moving on to NCAA. Council will meet in Indianapolis Wednesday to discuss a proposed new guidelines, which includes an update to directions for decisions on whether waiver requests should be granted. The amount of requests increased from 150 in 2017 to 250 in 2018, even though successful requests decreased by 2%. D, I know you touched on this. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, of course they want to stop them from doing what they want to do. Like it's crazy how they want to limit the players. But I can say the transfer portal was ridiculous this year. Like every time you looked up, somebody was getting transferred. So I think I kind of understand where they're going because some of the people are kind of in that boat where, well, I didn't get a fair shot. I can't get on the field. But I know this kid that went to USF, and he was recruited as a quarterback. and he was supposed to be the next in line. Something happened. They went and got another quarterback, and now they asking him about switching the receiver. My little homie Tay, but they want him to switch a receiver, but he's been playing quarterback since he was 3.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a reason to be in the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword, but man, let these kids do what they want to do. Y'all doing what y'all want to do.
I agree. All right, last story. The UConn, University of UConn, has been approved to return back to the Big East for basketball and other sports. The conference, the AAA conference, by law has required UConn to pay $10 million withdrawal fee and give 27-month notice before leaving, but the terms are still being negotiated. This is a lot of red tape.
Yeah, I mean, why did y'all have them leave? I think UConn is a staple in the Big East. They should have never left the Big East.
Well, if people saw the 30 for 30 documentary about the Big East, the issue was, the reason why they broke up was over football. Like, all the teams that are in the Big East right now, the current Big East, they don't have football teams, or they're in the FCS.
Right.
They don't care about the conference was created for basketball.
Right.
So they split up over football. UConn went over here because the AAC has a football conference, but they're like, you know what? We don't want to play
teams that's too good.
South Florida and Tulsa. We don't want to play those teams in football. We don't care about that. We want to play basketball against Villanova and Seton Hall and Marquette and all these. The important elite sport teams for UConn is basketball.
I agree. I wanted ESPN to go jump in and.
We'll see. I got another quick hit I want to definitely throw out. Darren Collison retired yesterday, kind of out of the blue. No one expected it. Wasn't a great career, but a good, steady career. Always was a good either backup point guard. He started for a number of teams. So he retired to focus on his faith and helping people that's less fortunate. So definitely bravo to Darren Collison, man.
Yep.
Thanks for a good career.
Shout out to him, and that's going to end our quick hits. But when we get back, of course, because we got to take a break. Free agency heats up, D.
Yes,
all
sir.
These rumors, and we'll talk about it when we get back. Bad. Keep it locked. You listen to 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge here on the Real 1100.
Hey folks, Handsome Josh is here to reveal some big news to all the AM 1100 listeners.
I have an app.
That's right, you can now check out all your favorite programs right here on The Real with the Real 1100 app. Whether it's sports, entertainment, or lifestyle, the Real 1100 definitely has you covered.
So why don't you just tell me how much it's going to cost me?
And here's the best part. It's available in your Google Play or Apple App Store, and it's free to download.
Actually, you can count me in on this one.
So download the Real 1100 app today and stay in tune with The Real.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cat Williams, and you are listening to 3 Point Conversion Radio.
Get ready. From the oven to your ears, it's now time for the Hot Topic.
We're back. 3 Point Conversion Lounge. I'm H.O. That's D Intellectual. And that's G behind the glass.
Go ahead.
Free agency heats up. Jumping into these hot topics, man. Free agency heats up. NBA free agency, that is. All the rumors are going around. They even got a rumor now talking about Kevin Durant will meet with Brooklyn, New York, and the Clippers, and Golden State. Then they say Kawhi is going to meet possibly with the Lakers, Clippers. He may meet with somebody in New York, but definitely going to give the Raptors a meeting.
I think this is going to be the LA teams and the Raptors.
Yeah, so I'm asking you, which is out of all these rumors, which is the most believable? I just named a couple, but it's plenty out there to go on. Which, in your opinion, is something that may have some as they call it, some grit sticking to your stomach? Which rumor do you think has the most legs?
For me, it's one we're going to get into a little bit later. It's Kemba going to Boston. I think that it's over. I think that it's going to happen. Like, what time free agency start tomorrow? 6?
6 p.m. Eastern.
I think by 6:01 we're going to hear Kemba signing a contract with Boston.
The way it's going to be like crazy at 6:01. Like not only with possibly something like that, but just with
it's just going
all the offers are going to be coming at the same time because these teams, I think the teams know who they want.
Yep.
But they need to get in there, get their meetings, make their offers as soon as possible, just so they can get in there first.
Even for somebody like Brogdon, right, and they can match his sheet, I think it's going to happen instantly. So that they go on the clock right, like Milwaukee has because you get, 3 days, right? So I think Milwaukee, they're going to do it instantly so that Milwaukee has because Milwaukee got a lot. They got to worry about Chris. They got to worry about Brook. They got to worry about a lot of people. So if you throw Brogdon an offer right off the bat, they got to.
What? So is there, G, I know you did prop bets, during the season. So the prop bet, I guess.
Let me see if I can find something real quick.
Which free agent would be the first offer? Would it be Clay? He'd probably be the odds-on favorite because they say, will it be Kemba?
So I think for me, I think it's going to be Clay, and what I mean by this, they probably gonna talk to him today and let him know, we're gonna send you the paperwork,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Sign it. It is what it is. He gonna get a max. I don't think he's going nowhere. I think he said it a long time ago. As long as he gets respected with his offer, he's gonna stay. They're gonna offer him the max. I think that's gonna be the first domino.
What signing would you like to see?
Honestly, I would love to see Kawhi go to the Clippers, and them try to bring back most of their free agents if they can. For them to do it, that's the biggest one. I think Gallinari, if I'm not mistaken. Even try to bring him back. But I think for them to have the season that they had last year to be able to bring Kawhi in would be like ridiculous. I really wouldn't. So it would be, I guess, if he went to L.A., you'd be like, oh, that's like a great team. But, like, I don't think it would even be too competitive, yo. Like, and we know they have to fill out their roster. But for me, like, them filling out their roster is, I think once J.R. Smith is traded and waived, I think he's going straight to L.A. I think Melo's going straight to L.A. Mm-hmm. So I think filling their bench out really wouldn't be too bad if you got 3 of the top 7 players in the NBA. I mean, who do you really need around you? You got Kuzma and one more. You throw a point guard out there, Patrick Beverly if you need, and then, you know what I mean? Like George Hill, right, because he just got waived, and you give him the veterans minimum for him to come over and be a starting point guard with LeBron James and Kawhi. Come on, man. It wouldn't even be like the defense alone. Like LeBron don't even have to play defense no more.
Right, he's kind of stopped covering.
Yeah, I mean he did.
I mean he has 4 other players to push him to the guy he's supposed to guard.
Right, but like I don't think that would be interesting for Kawhi to go to the Clippers, right, and make them an interesting team and to do what he can do. You know what I mean? And I like the rookie they had last year, Shai Gregorius. I can't pronounce his last name.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I really like him. He is long. He's smart. He has a high basketball IQ, and he's not scared of the moment. Like he was going at other players. Right. So to have a big guy like that in the backcourt, along with Kawhi and Lou Williams and Gallinari, and you know what I mean, try to get they got enough money to get 2 maxes, right? So go for Horford or somebody like that.
Yeah, I think Horford Horford, they say meeting in Atlanta. I mean,
I don't think they can afford him though.
Yeah, because he's. I think teams are willing to offer him a 4-year, like $100 million deal.
Yeah. And Atlanta could give him like 13 a year, 14 a year.
Yeah,
that would be like a homecoming friendly. Like I want to do it.
Yeah, he would take a major discount.
Yeah, and I don't think he would because if he would have, he was offered. He had 30 last year for Boston, and the reason he opted out was to get the longer.
He wanted to get a longer term
contract
deal.
For more. Like
I think the Mavericks are looking at him, and the Lakers and the Clippers as well.
See, I wouldn't even go to
maybe the Rockets, but I don't think he's a fit there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to the Mavericks. I would say because they're still a year or 2 away from competing at least. You know what I mean? In that West, you send them over to the Lakers or even the Clippers. It's like, dude.
Now the Clippers would kind of make sense if Kawhi goes.
Like the locker room presence, him being able to step back and shoot the 3,
right?
And his defense, how smart he is, and just Al. And that's what I heard people talk about. Like Al Horford isn't going to make. Like Al Horford does so much more than average 13 points and get you 6 rebounds. He does so much more.
Now, I would love to see this. I would love to see, and I think I mentioned this before, I would love to see Tobias Harris go to Portland.
Can they afford him?
They will have to clear Harkless
Mm-hmm.
and Amino. I think Amino and Harkless are on their last.
Amino a free agent, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Harkless, and they've already gotten rid of, well, they got Bazemo back, but.
The favorites as far as to sign Tobias Harris, right now it's the Sixers. And then following that, Brooklyn, Lakers, Mavericks, and then Utah.
Oof.
Wow.
Utah.
Oh, yeah, because they got rid of Jay Crowder.
Yeah, Utah's kind of, I don't know. I probably wouldn't. It's iffy. They just seem like a 4-5 to me always, right? Like always going to be a 4-5.
They're expected to be better defensively, I guess. And then you have a point guard that you can actually let shoot the ball sometimes.
Yeah,
so Donovan Mitchell you would expect Donovan Mitchell to be more efficient. And then another guy who can get his own shot in Tobias Harris. So it would be a good fit. But it's Utah.
Right,
like
exactly.
You have to live
That's
there.
what I'm saying. And back to Donovan Mitchell, his efficiency last year was ridiculous. Like you kind of saw him, like when I was watching him, you can see him trying to make the like pushing, like pressing too hard, trying to show he's the guy. And I think, like you said, Mike Conley's going to really help him with that, which is probably the most underrated point guard ever.
Yep.
But Tobias Harris, another good fit I think that I would like to see. Just because of his grit. I wouldn't mind seeing Jimmy Butler in Miami. I think he really wants to play, but it's a matter of them getting you know how they do with their contracts. I don't know what they be thinking. They gave James Johnson a crazy contract. But if he went there, I like his grit, like his playing in Miami. I think that would be dope too.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you think, or what do you think is a good fit for Mr. D'Angelo Russell? I say Indiana Pacers with him and Oladipo.
That might be a good fit, but I think with him, he's very ball dominant for me, right? Like especially in those playoffs, you really saw how much he pounds the ball in the floor, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of takes away from what Oladipo kind of does sometimes. That's why I think Collison was so great with Oladipo. Right. For me, which I know it's not going to happen, I just think that Brooklyn was the perfect fit for him. Like they, especially like I talk on it all the time. That's exactly what they needed. You know what I mean? Like that chip on the shoulder type of guy. So, but of course he's not going to go back there because the word is Kai going there. So,
well, they have extended a qualifying offer, so he's the backup plan for right now.
But you don't have too long. But D'Lo. That's going to be an interesting one.
It is interesting in it because you kind of didn't know what he really was, and then kind of exploded.
But then you get that 1 year contract year. You know what I mean? Is it that one? But you saw the skill. He always had the skill. He's a number 2 pick. So, I mean, does he go to the Lakers if they strike out on everybody else? For me, see, if I'm the Lakers, I don't even go for another major free agent. Right? I use all that cap, and I give me 3 players. I fill out that roster.
I think it's more important for them to fill out the roster than to get another max player. I mean, I know they're probably willing to go into the luxury tax, but if you don't get the right players, I think you have to get multiple players. It's not, you can't just bank on getting one guy to where none of them seem to be a good fit to play with LeBron and
you be in the
Davis.
same boat
really
as you was last year. You be in the same situation.
So they're getting the guys that are associated with LeBron in some way. Mm-hmm. George Hill played with him. Mm-hmm. J.R. Smith played with him. He's friends with Carmelo. Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
JaVale McGee played there. Lance Stevens. I mean, there'll be a couple of guys who played there last year too. So, because LeBron does not have time to learn new people.
Or people learning him.
They should have got I mean, it's going to be difficult already with trying to learn a new coach that he probably doesn't respect. Mm-hmm. Well, at least like people on the outside don't believe that there's any kind of respect there. So I think they need to spend their money on getting multiple players, not just one.
What about?
I think Brook Lopez would be good for them, even though they shipped him away for nothing. I mean, what you would think he get like 12 a year, somewhere in that range. He probably gonna ask for. Well, he's on the other wrong end of 30 though, right?
Yeah, but he said I can shoot threes.
He can.
he made more threes this year than Kobe has in any year.
Yeah. And he's one of the top blockers and 3-point shooters.
He's blocked more shots this year than Kevin Garnett did in any year.
See, he might want about 15. He might want 15 to 18.
I mean, just that alone. If I'm his agent, it's like I don't know if he's gonna make some money.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he'll get a long-term deal, but you got to think 15 to 18 million.
3 years.
Yeah.
Probably 3 years for 15 to 18 a year.
Kemba Walker to Boston, what you think? Is he go?
I think it'll be a great fit. I don't think he's not the because he's been in this small market, we don't know like what he is behind closed doors or whatever the case may be. But he can kind of play off the ball. We see that you don't want to. I guess if he bring them in, are you building around him or are you building around the young wings?
Right.
You know what I mean? Is it Jason Tatum, them team, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward? But I think that's more so what the issue is going to be. They're going to be having Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Hayward kind of doing their thing, playing the 2, 3, and the 4. They still got to figure out who's going to be their 5.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they got some work to do. But I think easy to playoff team. They're in the East.
What does that say for Terry Rozier?
Pack your bag. and I don't even mean it in the aspect of they don't want him.
Right.
But I don't want y'all. I thought Kyrie even was going to give me my opportunity to, you know what I mean? I'm going to go on to the Knicks.
I think he's a restricted free agent, Terry Rozier, right? Yeah, so
but if they
be interested in who's going to offer him
are they going to be able to match the offer?
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. That's going to end for the free agency. But, man, we got a special guest coming up next. Whew, boy, this thing is deep.
Yeah, y'all need to stay tuned for this.
Stay tuned for this, man, because it is. Let's just say it like this. There have been some things that has been hidden under some rocks for a very long time. And people, let's wake up. Or as they say, let's stay woke.
But I better believe it. I'm a sports fanatic, and I didn't know much about this.
Yeah, let's stay woke. And we got our special guest coming up next, so keep this thing locked. 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge on the Real 1100.
There's a lot going on in the world, and your world is always changing. That's why it's important to stay connected. The latest news, the latest entertainment, the newest music. If it's in the air or on the air, it can be in the palm of your hand, wherever you are, with the iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Over 1,500 live radio stations from across the country, and over 15 million songs to create your own custom stations. Text IHR to 45495 to download the app or listen at iHeartRadio.com. Standard text and data rates apply.
What's going on, guys? This is John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks. You're listening to the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
We're back. 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. I'm H.O. That is the intellectual.
Yes.
I got G behind the glass. And it's that time where we kind of get we're going to give you a historic view on some things that have been hidden over the years. So this is we probably want to call this segment the Stay Woke segment, because we have a special guest on the phone now that will enlighten us and enlighten the listeners on some things. And we want to start off by saying, if you have not ever heard of Syracuse 8, please Google it, go look it up, go do your research on this, because we have a guy here now that's on the phone, and our special guest is going to come on. 10 minutes may not give you the full story, because that's why the book is out. But Mr. John Lobon, welcome to the Sports Lounge, and thanks for coming on with us today, sir.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. it's almost the honor as I research this, the honor and the admiration that I have personally for the Syracuse 8 is remarkable. The producer booked you for 10 minutes. I don't know in 10 minutes if we can get all of what this is. I'm pretty sure you can tell us where to go buy the book, leveling the playing field. I'm sure you can tell us that, but I do want to start off by saying boycotting playing football in 1970 for racial equality because of playing time and things of that nature. I will start off by saying that. I do want to ask you, my first question would be, what was your feeling because of that being blackballed from the NFL?
Well, I think the first thing you want to look at is the time, the era. Mm-hmm. This was 1970, 2 years after Martin Luther King was assassinated. So it was a civil rights time, and it was a time when we had to make a stand.
Right.
And at that particular point in time, going to a university like Syracuse, where Jim Brown was the magnet, mm-hmm. and that we in turn tried to, hopefully be able to go where he went. That was to the next level. But what we come to realize that at that particular point in time, a change had to happen, and we didn't realize that we would encounter institutional racism. Mm-hmm. At this particular university, but we did.
Right.
And what we had to do was we had to make choices.
Right.
And the choices was, and as we were advised by Jim Brown, mm-hmm. that if we went forward with this boycott in 1970, that it would hinder our opportunities to go to the next level. And what we felt was somebody had to do this.
Wow.
And we didn't we did understand what he said because of, that era in time that, it may cost us that opportunity. But we was more for civil rights and equal rights than a paycheck.
I understand.
Definitely salute you for that, brother. Now, one of the questions I do have is, what would you have said to Kaepernick had he reached out to you before his protest?
I would have said to him, go for it. But understand, if you do, what happened. That he would be alienated, he would be chastised, he would be looked at as different. But his cause was real. Mm-hmm. But you got to go for what you believe in. And that's from within. And if you believe that you can have an impact on others and on a system, I'm with him. I salute him. I respect him.
All right, on the phone on 3-Point Conversion, we got Mr. John Lobon of the Syracuse 8. My question is sort of like I kind of put two together because watching your speech, you had me amazed in how to do this, and I don't want to give too much information out because I do want to encourage our listeners to go buy the book. But because of your stand, because of what you believed in, because of the village that you was raised with, and I saw that in your speech with your mother in the village that you was raised in, to give you that courage, and you understood that being blackballed from the NFL, you understood that totally. But you also talked about how later on down the line, what it will impact. And I want to ask you, which were you more proud of, or if you can choose, that the impact of Syracuse getting Dino Babers as the first black head coach, or being reinstated, or Syracuse 8 being reinstated in 2006, and they had 2 apologies from Nancy, which was the chancellor at the time?
What I think, when you look at it, what we fought for in 1970, there were four issues. One was better medical treatment, academic support,
right,
fairness on the field, and diversity within the coaching staff.
Right.
There had never been a black coach at Syracuse University since 1898. Therefore, we were trying to impact what they needed to have. At that point in time in 1970, there was only 10 black ball players on Syracuse football team. That was the most in the history of the program. And at that same time, the university was celebrating 100 years of being established 100 years earlier, that there was never a black coach within the system. When they hired Dino Barbers, that was the culmination of our four demands. The first three became actually common: academic support, better medical treatment, and fairness. Now became a part of the system. Some tell us that we helped push Title IX, fairness in athletics, in relationship to women's sports as well as men's sports. So we can't hang our hat totally on that, but what we were requesting is in the same line of what Title IX became. With Dino Barbers becoming the head football coach of Syracuse University, it took those many years, almost, I want to say 45 years, in order to get that piece accomplished. It's done.
Right.
So I'm at peace with myself at this point,
right,
because we did get it done.
Absolutely.
And with Nancy Cantor honoring us with two apologies, one for the apology from long ago, an apology for not apologizing, and awarding us the Chancellor's Medal for extraordinary courage. Hey, I'm on a high now.
You're on the high now.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
And it's crazy because if I'm not mistaken, back then they tried to make it only about trying to get a black coach. They went over
absolutely,
the other three things.
It became a black and white issue,
right,
and versus an issue of fairness.
Absolutely. Now, you've once said, I left my heart, but I had to take my soul. Now I've returned, you've given me my heart back, and now I can let you be a part of my soul. Can you explain that to our listeners and what that meant to you?
What that meant to me was, when I went to Syracuse, I gave them the old football cliche, 110%. I gave them that, but they chose not to give me that respect. And what I mean by that is, if I give you my all, then I would hope that you would respond accordingly to what I've done. And so what I'm saying, like we say, leave it on the field, that's what I was doing. I was leaving it on the field, but you took that from me. You took my efforts from me. And so when I returned in 2006 to receive the Chancellor's Medal, that's when I felt I was whole again. You know how you feel when you're standing outside trying to get in the house?
Yeah.
Well, at that point in time, I got the key to the door. So therefore, I can get into the house. I am also a letter winner of distinction at Syracuse University as well, which I thought would never happen because of the continuous hate from people that had and will continue not to respect us for what we did. But the thing was, I gave them my heart and soul. I tried because that's what I went in to be the best that I could be, and I proved that, but I didn't get that in return.
I agree. I think most people, when they think of Syracuse, you think of Jim Brown, you think of Floyd Little, you think of Ernie Davis, and now that this book and this story has been uncovered, now you can think of Syracuse 8 as Mr. John Lobon is a part of us in our show today. I want to thank you. There is nothing more pleasing and admiration to find that how impactful you and the other guys have been over the years because of what you believed in and stood for. So in the parting words, I'm going to ask you to give our listeners some parting words, some words of wisdom for life, as you exit. And also, before you do that, tell our listeners where they can buy the book, Leveling the Playing Field, and then we can go from there.
Okay, I would say the best way to do this is go to our webpage, Syracuse8.com.
Okay.
On that, on Syracuse8.com, what you will find, there's a link to Amazon. It will actually link you to Amazon for where you can purchase the book. But also, you will find on there a couple of informational things. One is a documentary, a 23-minute documentary I think people would be interested in, called Hidden History. It'll give it'll give you it'll be 4 of us discussing as Syracuse 8 members our journey as it relates to that. What I will say to you in parting is this here. I grew up from that moment in my journey, but it also gave me the spirit that I am somebody, that I can be somebody, and I will do for anyone. I'm from the we society, not the me society. I believe that if you are, I was there to open the door and keep the door open as long as I could, and sacrificing for our people, my people, was my purpose on this journey. And with that, I'm saying to you is this here. I grew up from this, and my career will reflect that in what I've done and the barriers I broke down, because I continue to break barriers from that journey forward, because I felt that was my purpose on this journey, was to be a trailblazer or a change agent. And I did that until I retired in 2013.
Well, Mr. John Lobon, it has been a plum-pleasing pleasure, as Les Brown would say, to have you on. It does not do justice for this amount of time to give all of our listeners what Syracuse 8 means to Syracuse, but not only to Syracuse, but to anybody who wants to believe and stand for what they believe in. So go buy the book, Syracuse8.com, and purchase the book, and make sure you check out the documentary, Hidden History. Mr. Lobon.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay, we also have, in relationship to being honored by the Chancellor's Medal, we also have a scholarship fund.
There you go.
Called the Syracuse 8 Scholarship Fund. That is for Black and Latino alumni. Black and Latino students to access for their educational needs. And then we also have an award that's given out annually called the Syracuse 8 Courage Award, that's given to an athlete that demonstrates courage. And for the last, since the creation in 2007, when it was first given out, we have given it to a variety of athletes, Black, white, Native American, African. It's so male and female. And the question was asked, well, is this for Black athletes only? My comment and our comment to them was this: an athlete is of no color. The athlete is the one who goes out there and develops and puts together their skills to represent their team in their effort. So that is the legacy that we have in place as well, that will continue as we move on in our journey as well.
Mr. Lobon, again, let's do it again, and we really appreciate you coming on today on the 3-point conversion. Have a great.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
Stay blessed.
Absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Man.
That was a good one right there.
Hidden History documentary.
It's funny how they say, they only say keep sports in politics separate when you talk about inequalities and injustices with black folks. So
I know, man.
It's the only time you got to keep it
and
separate.
the thing about it is, what Colin Kaepernick did, it just shows that it's been going on.
30 years later, 30,
you know, it's
40,
been
40,
going
45
on.
years later.
I tell you, boy, history is something else. But when we get back, Ice Cube and the Big Three, we got to talk about it, D.
You dig?
You know what I'm saying? Keep that thing locked. 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge on the Real 1100.
Let's get to it.
Hey, I'm Stephon Gilmore for the New England Patriots. You listen to the 3-Point Conversion. 3-Point Conversion. 3-Point Conversion.
Tune your radio.
Tune in.
Now. You can tune into this radio station on any smartphone or tablet. iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Nokia, Samsung, Windows phones, or whatever you have. Download the free TuneIn app from your phone or tablet's app store. Tune in with music, sports, news, and comedy from over 70,000 radio stations around the world, including this Beasley Broadcast Group station. Check it out at TuneIn.com or your app store.
Hey, this is Gary Payton. Y'all listen to 3-Point Conversion Radio. It's the bomb.
We're back. 3-Point Conversion Lounge. I'm H.O. That's D. Intellectual. T-Money behind the glass. Shout out to Cindy Cuts Barbershop. Dwayne Chambers is the man to see. 3000 Chapel Hill Road, Suite 206. Please go check out Dwayne Chambers. Last barber to the left. Make sure you follow him on social media at Simhai the Barber. All right, D. Big Three. You know, as soon as everything slows down, it's funny how as soon as the finals end, the Big Three started the next week.
Perfect timing, baby.
Ice Cube got it down packed. All right, so for the first week, you know, you got some new players involved and some old players, but more than anything, let's talk about some stats. Joe Johnson stood out. 27 and 16 with 5 assists. ISO Joe. Catino Mobley scoring 28 points. Even Craig Smith, 26 and 10. Reggie Evans, 22 and 25.
You see it, boy. You see it.
You know?
Reggie Evans out there.
I mean, like.
If he couldn't do nothing else, he can grab some boards.
He can grab some boards. Even Will Bynum, 22 points. Rashard Lewis, I think he was hurt last year, right, G? Coming back this year, so 18 points. Even Jason Richardson, his first year playing, he had 17. I noticed that there's not no stats for Josh Smith.
Or Royce White, right?
And exactly. But before we get to that, let's do this. We got some new players in the league for the Big Three. We got some old players, but who you like? Who can be the guy? Corey Getty won MVP last year. Who can be this year's guy for the Big Three?
I think it's two of the first people you named, Joe Johnson and Will Bynum. Joe Johnson it's Joe Johnson. Like, offensive game is ridiculous. And for him to be a 3-on-3, like, who going to really be able to guard him, right? Like, most people his size, he can put him in a post. We know he can shoot. We know he can drive to the whole dish. And he's big enough. That's why he had the 16 rebounds. He's big enough to rebound against the best of them. But then the big surprise for me is Will Bynum. Not big surprise for me, but maybe for some other people, Will Bynum. Like, do y'all know this dude's handle? Do y'all know he can jump out the gym? You know what I mean? And like a 3-on-3 game, I think he can exploit a lot of people because of his size. He'll be able to get where he wants on the court at any point in time.
Also playing in this league is Anthony Morrow, former Georgia Tech guy, 3-point shooter. Brandon Rush. Even Drew Gooden is playing in the Big Three, G.
Yeah, I saw that.
He played last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now I do have Al Jefferson also playing too. But I want to ask you this. I know this guy get a lot of flack for his shock jock invitation on TV a lot. But your thoughts on Ryan Hollins playing in the Big Three? Is he going to get clowned, because of his shock jock, and then he probably go out there and – I mean, he's never really been a –
I think this fits him though, right? Like, cause he's so big, so you can see him having 15 rebounds, 10 points easy with no problem because of his size. I recently saw him in a restaurant too. It's funny, he's down here all the time.
Oh, okay.
But is he gonna get clowned for that shot jock? Yeah, man. Yeah, you saw how Shaq was looking at him when the man was saying that Golden State team would beat the Bulls and all this, and Shaq like, man, you crazy, and he definitely gonna be clowned about it. But man, the Big Three doing their things, they bringing on a lot of people, man, and like we said last week, I can see them continuing on, and this league just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and visiting more cities and just doing so much more.
G, who you like as far as new players, or who can be the MVP for the year?
I agree on Joe Johnson. It's like he's one of those players to where this league is like tailor-made for them. Like any guy that you saw in the NBA who could get his own shot is perfect for this league because it's in the half court. You have to be precise and decisive, have good footwork, all that kind of stuff. Working with two other players, and he's one of those guys to where this is made for him. That's why they want those kind of players. I'm waiting for Paul Pierce to play. I know they really want Kobe to play. But this is the kind of league that they would grow into playing into as they get older. So I look forward to seeing Joe Johnson contend for the MVP.
Yeah, I agree.
There's some games today, isn't it? Isn't that where Raphael on assignment at?
Charlotte.
Yeah, he's in Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte to cover the game today. Tip off at 12. So I couldn't be here, but tip off at 12. So make sure y'all tune in. The Triplets play Tripology, so that should be
CBS.
That should be a very good game.
Yep. Your thoughts on real quick, Josh Smith, Royce White getting into it.
I mean,
is this almost like a stop it before the stop it?
I mean, kind of, but that we talked about it a little bit last week, right? Like that's kind of they allow you to do that, right? Like they're not gonna get 2 games, or they're not gonna like it is with. But they kind of seem like they had real beef, yo.
Yeah.
Like they had real beef. You know what I mean? And of course, it was Josh Smith was getting booed because of the contract he signed in Detroit, and what happened when he was in Detroit. It was just a big blow up. So. You know what I mean? So it was definitely interesting.
So Cube also said that they kind of designed the schedule based on where some of the players may be. So the Big Three is coming to Atlanta on the 7th. So do we expect Josh Smith to play because he's from Atlanta?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely expect to see him play. And he played for the Hawks for all them years, and the fans would love to see him because he did enough for Atlanta.
Well, I don't know about the last part, but yeah. He did. But yeah, he probably would play Joe Johnson. We'll probably get a chance to see Joe Johnson.
George White, man, he was a 13th pick.
But he had this flying issue.
Yeah, he got a mental
a fear of flying.
Yeah, he got like a mental thing going on, not just flying, just overall. And Houston was like, dude, we can't put you on no bus to go to from a back to back. How you go get to LA in enough time? So yeah, that was a crazy thing.
Yeah. All right, man, we got to take a quick break. That's going to end the Big Three. So make sure you check that out. Go to big3.com. And it will be in Atlanta next Sunday, right?
Yes.
July 7th. So please stay tuned for that. Josh Smith, stop fighting. Come on, man. I mean, represent the city. Don't come home doing that.
Don't come down. Come on.
Yeah,
fight,
don't
man.
come to State Farm Arena doing that.
No, we be chilling, man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with our Stop It segment. You already know. Listen to the 3 Point Conversion Lounge Saturday morning. on the Real 1100. Keep it locked.
What's happening? It's your man Big T doing big things. Y'all know what it is. ATL Hawks official DJ and Rap City forever. You're checking out the 3-Point Conversion Radio. You dig?
You are tuned into WWE Hakeville, AM 1100.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Big ups to our Sports Lounge crew for keeping the airways blazing each and every Saturday. But I want to send another special shout out to our team of writers at the 3-Point Conversion. You can visit us at the3pointconversion.com. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. How about the Gram? How about iHeart? How about Spreaker Radio? How about wherever you need it, baby? We got you covered. No mercy. Don't let up on him. Go hard on him, Mr. Controversy. Hit him with the stop it button.
We're back in the 3-Point Conversion Lounge. I'm H.O., the intellectual G-Money behind the glass. This weekend, we got the Big 3 going on around 12 o'clock. And we have Mr. Controversy on assignment. So make sure you check that out. I think the game's at 12 and 3, I think. Then they play tomorrow. As well. So make sure you check that out. But now it is time to get into our famous favorite segment, the Stop It segment. Let's get it.
Stop, hey. Stop, 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 stop. Stop it! Stop it, stop it.
Yes, S-T-O-P, new word, I-T. Stop it!
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, it's on you.
So I got 2 stoppers today. My first one is going to go to Mr. Le'Veon Bell. The reason I have to give Mr. Le'Veon Bell a stop it is because the tape recently came out when he got robbed. He got robbed of some jewelry, some shoes, and things like that. So the tape came out as he had left 2 groupies in his bed at home. Not that he went to a hotel and left them in a hotel room. He left them in his home, and when he came back, chains were missing, shoes were missing, different items. He valued just over $500,000. And when he called in to the police, they asked him for a description, and he was like, one's Hispanic, one's black, and they asked what he had, what did they have on. He was like, nothing. When I left, they didn't have nothing.
Stop it.
Like, you legit left 2 groupies that you know are groupies in your crib with all this stuff. And then when the description came out, you going to say nothing? Oh, all right, fam, we going to find them for you right now. You got their number, fam? Because I know you won't have no number, no nothing.
No names.
The name, no. They asked for the name. He was like,
Cinnamon.
Right,
and
Pinky.
And Peaches. Something like that.
He should have went on and chopped it up to the game. I messed up. But why'd you leave 2 chicks in your...
He's done it before. He's
Where
clearly
did he go?
done it before.
Where did you go? We going to Starbucks?
I don't even have no money, and I'm not leaving.
No. He's done. I bet he's done that
all the time.
Like, he does that and goes to practice.
Yep. I don't even have.
He goes that and then goes to get on the plane because the team has a road game
and tell them to lock themselves out. Make sure they lock the door when they leave. I don't even have nothing, and I'm not leaving 2 men, women, or anything that I don't know.
He probably expecting to still be there when he gets
probably,
back.
That's what it was. Later. That's what it was. He thought when he got back, they was going to be there waiting, ready. My other one goes out to the Oakland cop who said that Masai Ujiri pushed him. There's now video evidence that shows that he kind of pushed Masai first, and the reason was because he showed his credentials in a threatening manner. And he now has a lawsuit against the Raptors and Masai because he was in a hospital for a concussion. However, the video clearly shows him pushing him and him standing there. So he gets stopped for the lawsuit and also for showing the credentials in a threatening manner.
Stop it.
How did you do that? What?
He put it here it is in your face.
So you get pushed, or you push someone, but you end up in the hospital with a concussion.
Yeah, and you suing. So I want to know if they're gonna take that. If you go now, the police, the Oakland police, have taken it back and said we're sorry. So what that mean for your lawsuit, player?
It'll get thrown out soon enough.
Oh my God!
You should be able to sue the person that's suing you over some trash.
I agree.
Stop it.
Well, that's crazy. All right, my stop it is, I don't know if I should give it to Bobo or Young Thug for making the suit. Maybe I should give it to Bobo for paying $100,000 for the suit, the Spider-Man suit that he wore on draft night. $100,000 for that? The new Spider-Man coming out too, right? That's probably what they marketing that.
He's promoting that.
Now, I will say this: because he fell to 44th in the draft,
he might not be able to afford it.
He may have to finance the suit.
Put that on layaway.
So, Bobo, you get a stop it for me for even buying that suit for $100,000.
Stop it.
He definitely might not be able to afford that suit, dog. I'm serious.
Yeah, he's not a guy.
Because they don't have guaranteed contracts. So I know that he's going to get signed. He's Bobo, and they expect him to, But what the contract going to look like? But the second round, his contract be like minimum, you know what I mean? Like $500,000 a year, something like that. Like, it's not big. So you spent, after taxes and your agent,
right,
probably half of what you're going to make this year.
Young Thug might be looking for his money.
Young Thug about it, too. He's going to be definitely looking for his check.
And if he needs some help, he just going to call 50.
That's it. 50 going to get his money.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, Bismarck, you pay him in food stamps. I don't know if y'all
Stop it.
You got to stop it before we get.
Yeah, real quick. This is based on the NBA awards from this past Monday. Mine goes to the Houston Rockets for all the salt that they have ingested. Because right after Giannis claimed the MVP that pretty much everyone knew he was going to win, the Rockets put out a video on Twitter and Facebook saying, well, it's cool and all that Giannis won the MVP, but James Harden did all of this. Like, they're being a poor sport about it.
Right.
And see, that's why Chris Paul don't want to play for y'all no more.
Stop it.
So they need to stop it.
Stop it.
Wow.
For real. That is ridiculous, man. And what's funny is, it's kind of off topic, but it is about the awards, how Mike Conley got traded. He said it's great for all my future teammates to be here. But they was there because of Rudy Gobert was getting the defensive player of the year trophy.
Good play on words, though, Mike.
Stop it.
Right.
All right, man. So, obviously, we having some fun right now. We get back, we're going to have some more fun. Is this really happening? G-Money is up to the plate. Keep that thing locked. 3-Point Conversion Lounge. Only the real 1100.
Let me break down to y'all what's so dope about the 3-point conversion. First of all, everybody is a fan of the game first. Second of all, everybody is a student of the game second. And third of all, we're the average sports fan just like everybody else. We're not coming in here, walking with our nose tipped high, acting snooty, acting brand new. This is a grassroots organization. Bar none. The 3-Point Conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Be sure to visit the website www.the3pointconversion.com. Get your fix, get your articles, multimedia, and everything else that you, as a sports fan, need. So again, the3pointconversion.com. It's where it's at, man, where fans' opinions matter. Happy Saturday, sports fans. It's your boy Sherm, a.k.a. the Lord of the Beats, and you are currently inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge with my man's Mr. Controversy, D Intellectual, and of course my dog G behind the boards. Cheers to the freaking weekend.
Yes, we're back inside the Sports Lounge, 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Shout out to CERN Beats as he keeps our heads bopping in studio always. Make sure you follow 3-Point Conversion Lounge on Facebook so you can watch us live and we in here bopping our heads all day, every day. Shout out to CERN Beats. But now we are in this part of the show where we have coming to the stage our guy, and we're going to have some more fun with this. And this segment is called, Is This Really Happening?
All right, so, is this really happening? We'll be looking at a couple of things that actually are happening, but you still question it because it sounds unbelievable.
Like that suit, that Bobo.
Like Bobo's suit. I wasn't sure. I missed it because we mentioned it Wednesday.
Right.
But I thought you were talking about Darius Garland's suit coming right out of the dojo.
That wasn't no suit.
Yeah,
that was not no suit.
I think it's called a gi.
Nobody tell me that was a
right.
suit. That was I'm warming up for the black belt match. You saw the belt on it. What are you, brown belt or tan?
Karate
cream
Kid
belt?
Revenge.
Cream belt. Yeah, cream belt.
All right, so the first story here, this has been going on in a few places throughout the South. So there are a lot of schools named after Confederate generals, specifically Robert E. Lee. There was a school in Texas that was facing pressure to change the name of Robert E. Lee High School because there were protests around the country over his legacy. Mm-hmm. And, we know about, with statues getting torn down or protests or anything like that, anything related to the name Robert E. Lee. So officials for the school were concerned that it would cost about $1.3 million to change everything around this particular school, as far as like the signs, their football field. It must have said Robert E. Lee on it, and to have new uniforms and to make any other changes. So what the school decided to do was rebrand it. So instead of Robert E. Lee High School, it's called the Legacy of Educational Excellence, LEE. So it's Lee High School, but it's just Lee High School. It's not Robert E. Lee. It's just Lee.
But they went all the way to the.
That is hilarious. They said, "Man, we ain't finna spend all this money over here.
Million?
We can cut these Roberts off, and we can go ahead and get it in the rest of the way." Wow, that is
that
what's
is
the word I'm looking for? That is improvising.
Yes.
Go improvise this.
Wow. So they had a sign that said Robert E. Lee High School Auditorium, but then the next picture it just says Lee High School Auditorium.
Did they change mascots? Did they change the logo?
They didn't change their mascot. Yeah, they just took the Robert E. off of it. And there's also another school called, it was Robert E. Lee School, but they changed it to Adelaide Lee. I don't know who Adelaide Lee is, but it's someone that's important to them to rename the school. And Sway Lee from Ray Shrimmer has, suggested the Sway Lee.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Sway Lee Elementary School.
I'm sure he did.
If you're trying to, and other people came with suggestions, the Bruce Lee School, Spike Lee School, Sarah Lee Culinary Academy, Stan Lee School of Graphic Arts. So
Spike Lee would have been dope.
So,
but it still would have been changing everything, you know what I mean? So
right.
I think that's why the Lee works.
Yeah. So that particularly is the legacy of educational excellence.
What school you go to? Robert Lee.
Just say Lee. I went to Lee. Yeah. Oh, okay. Which Lee?
Right. Legacy of educational excellence, man. Jeez.
Wow. That's amazing.
All right, so this other story is a little more grotesque, I guess you might say.
Okay, all right.
So there was a guy who, if anyone's seen 8 Mile, and remember the scene with Cheddar Bob and the gun.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy that happened to this particular guy, and then things got worse, if that was possible. So he was. Trying to pull it up here. This was in Boston. He shot himself in that area, and then he got arrested.
Oh.
So in the 4 months that he shot himself in the genitals, this man has been arrested 4 separate times, and now he is behind bars awaiting trial on narcotics, weapons, and domestic battery counts. So, even after, you would think that after you accidentally shoot yourself in the junk, that, you might change your ways.
It's over with. I'm not doing nothing. You blow your Johnson off your junk. You do that. You just back up after that. Like, know what? Yeah. I'm going to change my whole life. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of stuff I'm going to do different. I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to go get a job. He like, no, I'm still living a thug life. Yeah, all right.
Wow. This article also says that, 4 out of 5 guys who do that, that might be their rock bottom. He's the 5th guy that refuses to change.
You still haven't hit rock bottom. What is rock bottom for him?
Yeah, how far do you have to go down?
Because jail ain't really rock bottom for you, depending on what the little violations. All right, you done shot yourself in the junk. That's supposed to be it. That is the bottom. That's it.
That is rock bottom.
That's it.
Wow.
So, everyone wants to know his name is Mark Anthony Jones. He's actually from Indiana.
Yeah.
And it was when he shot himself. He said he was walking down the street, and police came upon him. He said he had a weapon, and then he tried to adjust his waistband, and then the gun went off.
Tried to up on the police and shot himself.
And it was through and through. That was the kind of shot it was. So, I mean, but to just continue to like if you tried to walk it off or something, it's just not the way to go.
So I'm trying to figure out, did he actually get arrested then? Or did they send him to the hospital?
He probably didn't for that, because in Indiana you have a gun. You know what I'm saying?
Bloody police car?
No, they probably was praying for him.
I think they well, it didn't say, but I think they took him to the hospital.
Okay.
He has a weapons charge. It might not have been for that at that particular time.
They probably was like, what?
But the thing is, after that, he just gonna keep doing stuff.
They probably was like, we're not gonna charge you for this. You went through enough. Don't worry about this. But my question is,
we're gonna let him get himself together.
How you getting domestics beating on women, and you shooting yourself in the junk? Mind you, it ain't never okay to put hands on a woman and nothing like that ever. No. But you don't even got enough. Excuse my French, balls to be like you
literally,
you don't you don't you don't have the gustos.
Wow, my God,
This dude don't have no cojones.
So yeah, which one sounds more or less believable? The cutting off the Robert E. to save some money, or a guy who literally has no balls and just keeps on trucking.
I
got to go with the. He just do no cojones. He just keep going. He the fifth out of the 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 people done, and he the one that just I don't want to quit. I'm gonna keep going.
He's like that Energizer battery commercial.
Yeah, all right.
Just keep ticking. But the cheap way out, I mean, that's more believable. It's more believable, unbelievable, if that makes sense. But the other one is just like,
come on,
I can't
man.
believe he did this or keeps doing this. So that's what I say. But that's all you got, G?
Yeah, I just go with 2 because it was. I felt like that was enough.
That's enough. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I concur.
Indianapolis hospitals are like, why did you bring him or why you doing it? But that's crazy. All right, man, when we get back, NBA. Sorry, Major League Baseball. We already talked NBA. Major League Baseball, you know it's that time of the year. All-Star game, All-Stars, starters, and we going to talk about that when we get back. You listening to 3 Point Conversion Lounge on the Really Level.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta Surgery Centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
Yo, you chilling with the 3 Point Conversion Sports Line. It's Chad Johnson.
We're back at you. 3 Point Conversion Lounge. Saturday morning, doing our thing. Time to get into some of this Major League Baseball, D.
Yes, that's the only sport we really got going now, other than, of course, the big three, which definitely doing their thing.
Yep.
Man, it's that time.
That time, man. And the Yankees are pulling away in the American League East, even though they got some injuries. They've had some people to step their game up, especially Gabe Sanchez, the catcher. They're 7 games up now on Tampa Bay Rays.
They ran away with that.
So do you see this being a runaway, or can Boston or the Rays catch them in the East?
I think Boston or the Rays should be worried about the wild card.
Okay. So no, they
it's 7 now, and they excuse me. It's 7 now, and they just now getting their roster back together, and they still got standing out.
Yeah,
like dude, that's and 7. Although I guess you can always say they still got a lot of head-to-head matchups.
Yeah,
not just them, but even with Boston, and we know how that series go. That's like any rivalry. When those teams get together, the record doesn't matter. How they're playing doesn't matter. So again, we almost at the halfway point. So 7.5 stars a lot sounds like a lot. However, I think they play them boys balling over there, man.
All right, so Minnesota in the Central, they 8 games up, but now this is the thing. In the last 10 games, Texas is 7-3. They have pulled within 4.5 of the Houston Astros in the West. So keep an eye on the Texas Rangers. As I think it was at 13 at one point, the league. 11, I think. 11 or 13, I can't remember. But moving on to the National League, obviously the Braves 5.5 up in the East. Chicago only a game up on Milwaukee, and the Dodgers are 12 games up in the West. So are we looking at Atlanta, Chicago, or the Dodgers, or are you concerned because it looks like the Central is more competitive than any other division? How did you see that going as far as the Brewers and St. Louis catching the Cubs?
I think it's more so Milwaukee. You never want to say nothing about St. Louis because they just always seem to make it happen. Everybody thought after Pujols got traded that they were going to
fall
off. We saw they didn't. They're still here. However, I think that the Brew Crew, with Yelich over there playing like I don't even want to say MVP, like a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they continue doing what they're doing, they're going to be right with that. I could see the wild card coming out of the Central, too. So I think it's going to be one of them type seasons.
Gotcha.
But I hate the wild card. You get one game.
It's ridiculous. All right, moving to the All-Star game. Let's go to some starters. American League, first base, Carlos Santana. Second base, DJ LeMahieu. Shortstop, George Polanco. Alex Bregman, third baseman. Outfield, Trout, Springer, Bradley. And the designated hitter is Hunter Pence from the actual Texas Rangers. And they got the catcher. Who's the catcher? Gabe Sanchez, I think, is the American League catcher.
It is, too.
All right, so your thoughts on the starters real quick in the American League. Do you have any issues with
this?
I
think they got it. You know what I mean? They got Javi and Contreras back there. They both doing their thing. Freddie Freeman been over there at first base. You can't argue with him. I mean, Josh Bell had an argument. Rizzo was on a tear, but he kind of, slowed down. So you really can't argue there. I mean, everything looks good to me. What you think about him?
Yeah, and getting to that National League with Wilson Contreras, the catcher, Freddie Ketel Marte for the Diamondbacks, first All-Star game, and also Ronald Acuna, first All-Star game.
Definitely deserve it.
So we got 2 firsts in the National League and 1 first in the American League, which is George Polanco, who's actually, I think, leading the league in hitting. He's top 3 in hitting as well. But Ketel Marte is having a monster season.
That's what I was going to say. He never hit 20 home runs before, and he has this year.
Right, already.
He's balling. And again, I'm not saying this, but it always seems to happen. I hope there's no test come back or nothing like that, you know what I mean? Because when you see such a stretch like that, you hear 2 years later, oh, he got an 80-game ban because I'm praying that he didn't, you know what I'm saying? It could be just sometimes people need a couple seasons to really catch up to the baseball like that. So, man, and he got 100 hits, man.
Right. Third youngest outfield to make the All-Star team, the starters. The third youngest, Yelich, Bellinger, and Acuna. The third youngest in the Major League history. But if I had to pose this question to you, which outfield would you take, the National League or the American League? You got Yelich, Bellinger, and Acuna, Springer, Trout, and Brantley.
As much as I love Trout, look at this National League lineup in the outfield. Yelich, who was last year's MVP, is on pace to be putting up the same numbers. Cody Bellinger, who is destroying anything and everything. He's actually, if it ended the day, he'd be the MVP.
Right.
And then you got Acuna, who's balling out of control. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I mean, this one. Of course, Mike Trout is Mike Trout. Speaks for itself. George Springer, he's good. He's, you know what I mean?
Had a couple injuries early on.
Michael Brantley, he's good. You know what I mean? But, like, these three, come on, man. Come on. They putting up monster numbers. Like, you got good numbers, then you got monster numbers. You know what I mean? And they putting up monster numbers.
Do you see an obvious omission in the outfield that we talked about? The one who's getting $330 million.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. He definitely isn't there.
Is there a way they can take some of it? Does he have to make the All-Star game every year as a starter to validate this kind of money?
He's not even finna make it as a reserve.
Look, Scott Boras didn't put that in the contract that he had to do it.
It is what
so
it is.
It does not matter. The check will still clear.
Clear, period. I mean, not just the All-Star. He's not even going to make the game. Can you see him making the game, G?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow. Oof.
But this isn't unknown for him, right? Even remember we were talking about it, right? And we were asking, we had a conversation about, do he deserve the 3-something? I was like, I'm not sure. Yeah, he hits home runs, he's gonna pack the seats, but he's gonna bat 240, 250 for you, and you know what I mean? And it's a lot of pressure. It's the first year of a 37-year deal.
37 years.
Exactly. Something like that.
Something like that. So, I'm sure he'll do better. That first year you're always pressing, right? So we'll see. Speaking of pressing, Jason Hayward out there balling, man. He actually got over 10 home runs before the middle of the season.
We'll say this for Bryce, that he has played this is his 8th year. This will be only the second time he's missed the All-Star game.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I'm sure he's going to come back. And not just that, I expect him to come back in the second half and tear it up. Like, sometimes people need that break. Right. Like, he might need to not be around nothing, although he probably will still be in the home run derby because, he's a defending champ, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But sometimes people need that break. You know what I mean? Them 4 days off? They stopped playing like that Friday or some people pitch that Sunday.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, something like that. So some people need those 4 days off to recoup and get it back together. So we'll see. I don't want to say I got faith in him because I don't need faith in him. I hope he don't do nothing because he's in the National League and he over there playing the Braves now. I rock with him a little bit now. So
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. We get back. Of course, we got some injury reports that we got. And guess who we're going to ask? We're going to ask the doc. Keep it locked. Got Dr. Fowler coming up. Listen to the 3-point conversion on the Real 1100.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the Real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Yeah, this is CJ Edwards with the Chicago Cubs, known as Carl Edwards Jr. I am now on the 3-point conversion. Holla at your boy.
We're back. 3-point conversion lounge. I'm H.O. That's D.
Yes,
Intellectual, G behind the glass. We're at that moment of the show where we invite our friends on the show. At least I can call them a friend because we have some kind of connection that G don't like. It's all good. This segment is sponsored by Ortho Atlanta. Please go to orthoatlanta.com for more information. 14 convenient locations around the city of Atlanta. And on the phone, we got our guy, Mr. Don Nee Fowler. Ask the Doc. What's up, Doc?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Absolutely. You doing all right today?
Not bad for a Saturday, just on call, so getting some other stuff done too.
All right, cool. Well, let's get to these questions before you get that horrendous page that you always get if you're on call. The Summer League is coming up, and the Denver Nuggets has said that Michael Porter Jr., who has had a back injury, is ready to go and will play, but then I also heard some other reports that maybe he took a step back. But I do want to ask you about this in particular, the back injury. How slow do they have to take this, and do you think he's ready to play in the Summer League?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Summer League plays out. I think a lot of people have forgotten about Michael Porter, almost in a way, with all the hype coming out of this most recent draft. And again, at one time, this guy was the best player in basketball coming out of high school. So I haven't seen him myself play yet. I'm kind of going off reports and things, and I think it was the president of the squad came out a couple of days ago and said that, he's been doing 2-a-days for months and he's been fully cleared, and they think he's the player that they saw before he was injured. So apparently he's ready, but I'm definitely going to be tuning into some of those Summer League games and seeing how he's out there, how he's moving around. So.
Absolutely. I definitely think a lot of people forgot about Michael Porter. We're going to see, especially imagine putting him on that Denver team with what they did last year. Now, we recently saw Cole Hamels had an injury, which is an oblique strain. Can you explain that injury and possibly expected time on the injury list?
Yeah, IL, not DL. That's a big one for the Cubs. I feel like Cole Hamels has been around for 20 years by now, but he's still getting it done. He's been having a great year for them, and certainly we've talked about that. NL Central, there's a lot of good teams competing, so if you lose one of your big starters like that can definitely shake things up. So, the oblique, it's connected to the abdominal muscles. It's kind of a core-type muscle injury. He's calling it mild, but you do get a little worried when you think back. He had a similar, at least an oblique injury in 2017 where he was out 2 months. Now, he's saying that he doesn't think it was as bad as the one 2 years ago, but he also said he almost came back a little too quickly 2 years ago, too, so that he's going to take it slow and easy. So my guess is, this is not a day-to-day thing. I would guess at least a month, probably, hopefully not 2 months, but I think he's going to, miss 4 or 5 starts potentially with this injury.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right, Doc. We just talked about the Yankees kind of pulling away in the American League East, pulling away. They're 7 games up right now. Carlos Stanton came off the IL like a week ago, but now he's going back to the IL with a strained right PCL. The timetable on what you think, how long you think he will be out, and are they going to be more cautious with this because he was just coming off the IL prior a week ago?
Yeah, so this is hopefully not becoming a trend, at least as far as the Yankees are concerned with Stanton. I think he's up to a total of 9 out of whatever 80 games played so far this year, with at least 3 stints now on the IL with biceps and shoulder and calf and now his PCL. The PCL is one of the big ligaments in the knee. It's not as important as the ACL, which is the one that kind of controls your knee from going forward. The PCL, posterior cruciate ligament, controls your knee from going backwards. It's usually something that will heal up just fine. but they're already saying that don't expect to see him in the month of July, that we're looking at least into August. So my guess is closer to a 6-week type recovery, especially with everything he's already gone through this year, and hopefully having him somewhat healthy come playoffs, especially with the price tag they're paying for him. So
yeah, it's definitely a big price tag. We was talking about that earlier. His contract doesn't expire, so he's 38 and he's still going to be making $25 million.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, recently this week we heard about Alex Smith injury and how he's progressing. Like, I think he's able to walk. I think he said he can play a little basketball with the kids, and he's supposed to be getting better. Do you think that we know probably not this year, but do you think he comes back from that devastating injury?
You know, people who have probably listened to me a few times now might remember I'm a Washington, D.C. guy, so, you know, I'm always pulling for guys, especially on my home teams like the Redskins, but the orthopedic surgeon in me would not bet on him to be back. I mean, I wish all the best. I really hope he does, and I think it's important that even from a mental standpoint that Alex Smith stays positive and has that goal in front of him, just, you know, something to kind of keep working toward. But when you're talking about him being in his mid-30s, compound fracture with both leg bones through the skin, multiple surgeries, infections, a frame around his leg that's been on for 7 months that they still haven't even taken off yet. I just think it's a big reach. I think he's certainly going to get back to having a functional life and being able to do recreational things, but playing NFL football, I do not think it's going to happen. I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't think so.
To kind of follow up on that question, like it happened to another Washington quarterback, but compared to Joe Theismann's injury, he didn't come back. So do you think that the age is more of a factor, or just more the kind of break that it actually is?
Yeah, I think it's a little both. That's a great question. I think it's a little both. Certainly Alex Smith is on the older age of the spectrum, albeit he plays quarterback. It's not quite as big of a deal compared to some of the other positions, but the severity of his break, again, where you actually have the bone through the skin and infection and multiple surgeries, it just never quite probably heals right. I mean, even those guys in the NBA that have had some of those bad ones that have come back, they didn't necessarily have to battle through the infections and have a frame around their leg for 7-8 months. So I think a little bit his age. I would say more of it was the severity of his injury in Alex Smith's case.
Okay. Now I got another question for you. It's not really injury related. It's more so your personal opinion. Now with KD injury, who do you think he signs with, and do you think the injury has any type of effect on that?
Man, that's a good question. I don't think he's going back to Golden State. That's just my sense with him opting out. Obviously, everyone's talking about kind of the New York teams, and then I think the Clippers in the mix too. He's going to get a max contract. That makes me nervous coming off an Achilles injury, but I think those teams understand if they don't give him a max contract, they're not going to have a shot. So I really don't know where I think he's going to end up. I don't think he's going to be back in Golden State. So.
All right, Doc, man, we really appreciate it. Please go to ArthurAtlanta.com for more information. Doc, until next time, go do.
All right, guys.
All right.
Have a great Saturday.
You too.
All right, there he is, Dr. Fowler, man. Coming on with us, and I think personally, D, that he may be in the same boat a lot of us are in with all these rumors about KD. That we probably know that he's not going back to Golden State, but where does he go? Like, we don't know. It's hard to kind of get a feel or of what he's actually
what it's going to be
feeling, you know. Yep. And then he has a whole year to rehab. So, does the best training staff helps influence him at this particular point.
Well, the best training staff was what? Phoenix?
Yeah, go
there. You go.
Yeah, going there. Phoenix had Amari out there looking great, and Shaq out there looking like he was.
Shaq looked 15 years younger.
Slim and everything. What?
Yeah.
Grant Hill and Vince Carter were out there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But and he's definitely even though I think they fired the whole staff, they have a new staff altogether. But it's not New Orleans either. It's gonna be he's one of these millennials that a lot of people talk about. So it's gonna come down to, can he be part of this culture that can offer him the most money? Is he willing to leave that much money, almost $60 million on the table, over some feelings?
All right, before we go to break, so do you think it's about championships, winning the ring at this point, or is it about how does his legacy end?
It might be about how his legacy ends. I mean, that's what it looks like if he goes to another team.
Right.
And he's doing it 4 years earlier than LeBron. LeBron went back to Cleveland over, I want to bring one back to Cleveland.
Right.
But then LA, it's like, I'm thinking of life beyond basketball. And I think KD's already at that point.
What you think, D?
He bounced right out as soon as he got that ring, too. I'm talking about LeBron. He like, deuces, yeah, all right, I'll get up with y'all. For me, I think it's more about legacy. If it was just about winning, you'll stay in Golden State and make it happen. It is what it is, you know what I mean? But that also can go into the effect of the injury. Was the injury something that Golden State overlooked, or, we talked about the Iggy comments earlier about him having a bone bruise when it really was a fracture. So if that was an issue, maybe he's taking that road. And maybe what if he was going to stay with Golden State? And this may have been the issue, like, you know what? Now I'm not because of the way y'all handled that. Right. But for me, I think it's more about legacy. I said it early in the year. For him to cement his legacy, he needs to leave and win a championship elsewhere, whether it's New York, whether it's hometown in Washington, D.C., whether he goes back to Oklahoma City and brings them a championship. He needs to go somewhere else and cement his legacy for it to really be that legacy.
Right. I noticed Doc didn't mention him going back to Washington, D.C. either.
Yeah. I don't see, they ain't got no money. They ain't I would have loved.
He would have done that already.
Yeah, I would love to see him go back to OKC.
Yeah,
him, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. And it can happen because they can trade Steven Adams.
Yeah, they trying to too. All right, man, we finna wrap this thing up. When we get back, got a little something that's on our mind. Make sure you keep that thing locked. Finna wrap this thing up. 3-point conversion, lounge on the Real 1100.
What's good, family? I'm Marlon Sucker Free Jones, a Sucker Free Life LLC, and I'm locked in every Saturday to the best sports show on the planet, the 3-point conversion, where no team or no player is off limits. So let's talk sports, the best of the best, the worst of the worst, and everything in between. Can you dig that?
It's time to get in the mind of Mr. Controversy and the Intellectual with What's on My Mind.
Yes, we're back at you. Make sure we give a shout out to our sponsors, Shern Beats LLC, Salad Express, Cindy Cuts Barbershop, 3000 Chapel Hill Road, 3206. Dwayne Chambers is the barber that you need to see. And also Ortho Atlanta, Dr. Fowler and the crew. Go to orthoatlanta.com for more information. 14 convenient locations. Shout out to Mr. Controversy, man, for allowing me to sit in and drop this knowledge while he's on assignment. But now it is time to tell you what is on our mind in our segment called What's on My Mind. And I'm going to have the pleasure to be the Ronald Acuna for today, and because I'm going to go first. And if they throw me a high fastball, I'm going to hit it out the park. But on a serious note, I think that, D, you mentioned it earlier, sports and politics. They say don't put them together. But when you're being disrespected, they kind of go together. You forced me to put these two things together. And as I was doing my research about the Syracuse 8, it kind of opened your eyes up to how information is always hidden from us. Because when you mention Syracuse University, you only think about Jim Brown, Floyd Little, Ernie Davis. And this is an interesting fact that I found out. Jim Brown thought he was on scholarship the first 2 years of his Syracuse career. But I found out 2 physicians were paying for him to be in school. Think about it. I found out that he actually, if there was a pro lacrosse team, he would have actually played lacrosse professionally. But it was so interesting to do the research on this. And what I'm proposing to not just people and not just my sports fraternity, as we're always doing research to deliver the sports knowledge that we give. But I am encouraging you, not just our sports friends in the sports fraternity and the media fraternity, but just people in general. Anything that you study, anything that you know about, anything that you're passionate about, make sure you do your history. Research history. Because you will uncover a lot of things that you knew, that you did not know, and that you thought you knew based on what everybody else has said. But when you do your own research and your own history research, you'll find a lot of information out that will probably appall you. And what Mr. John Lobon did not say is during that time at Syracuse, they had a rule called the two-for rule. Only 2 black players can be on the field for the same team at one time. That's it. So if you get subbed in, you automatically knew who was coming out. Mm-hmm. It really makes you think. It really makes you wonder. So my encouragement is always do your research. Know your history, at least about the thing that you love. And that's what's on my mind.
I definitely agree. Anybody that know me know I love history and information. And me learning about that definitely was big. And one of the things that I did hear that the coach at the time told one of them, either you're going to be black or a football player.
Yep.
Wait, what? Be black or a football player. FYI, I'm both. And I'm going to be black for the rest of my life. But yeah, that was definitely a good segment. So what's on my mind today is free agency. For the last few weeks, we've been going crazy about it since the season ended. Even before it was ended, we was trying to figure out where this person gonna go, what this person gonna do, things like that. And it always just takes us. Well, they recently changed it where it's at 6 o'clock on the deadline day as opposed to what it was. I think it was 12 a.m. and at 12:01, everyone was like at people's homes at midnight. And if that's not one of the rudest things possible, but one of the things I suggest is, how about, this is just a suggestion. You definitely got to put politics into it and work out the logistics. What if the NBA free agency period started before the draft? By that time, if you made all the trades or the free agencies that you needed to make, then you can draft for need as opposed to drafting for what you think you're going to need because you're not sure of who you're going to draft or what it's going to be. Not only that, how many of those kids walk up there with a basketball cap on, with a hat on, for a team they never gonna suit up for? Like, I think I've never seen this many trades as it was this year, right? And most of the kids that went up there the first round, one kid got traded 3 times, I think, by the time he got down off the stage. Like, he was traded from this team to this team, then this team traded him over this team. So you got these kids with these hats on, which they shouldn't even have to put it on because they ain't going to never put on the jersey for these teams. And you're kind of drafting based on what you think you're going to do. If you move the free agency signing period up a little bit, now you got people drafting on need, and you're kind of changing up what you're going to be. And what I mean by it is the lottery still can be before the free agency signing. But once you get that lottery pick, then after the finals, let the free agency be not too far behind. And then you can have a draft. That way you got your team set up. And even if you drafting at 25th, right? Like, you got your team, you know exactly what you may need. You might need this shooting guard that may drop to down in the second round, but because that's exactly what you need and he going to fill your roster out, you can get him instead of getting this center that you best player available. Might not need the best player available. I might just need this shooting guard. So that's how I feel about that situation. That's what's on my mind. I'm ready for, if y'all can't tell, I'm ready for free agency.
All right, man. Awesome. Free agency is the thing. Do also have to tell you that rumor is Ricky Rubio may be in Chicago.
I mean, it's not a bad person for Kobe White to learn from. I prefer Pat Beverly, though.
Being in L.A.
The reason I like Pat Beverly is because his defensive tenacity. And he got that west side in him, you know what I'm saying?
He might sign with Clutch Sports next week.
If he signed with Clutch, we know where he's going. But I ain't mad at him because I know he wants that bag. And he deserved to get that bag, everything he done went through.
All right, man. Shout out to Mr. Raphael. Shout out to D. Shout out to G. Shout out to everybody who listened. Shout out to our guest, Mr. John Lobon, Syracuse 8. Please go to and do your research on that story. Leveling Out the Playing Field is the book. Shout out to Dr. Fowler for calling in, giving us some updates. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. And it was just a great, great show.
Oh, I get to talk during this part of the show again. Great. Shout out to everyone who listened, where you listen on the radio or on Facebook Live or on the apps, anything like that. Thanks for listening. And keep following 3 Point Conversion, especially on Facebook, Instagram. There are going to be videos and interviews, of course, from the Big Three this week and next week as they come to Birmingham and Atlanta. So look out for that.
Definitely going to be up in there. So like you say, check that out. I'm just give a shout out to friends, family, and as I always do every week, everybody that listens, not only listen to the show, but check us out on Instagram, Facebook, the website, YouTube, wherever we at. Y'all check us out. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of faithful listeners that continue to listen, so we definitely appreciate y'all for listening.
There it is. And you already know, as always, same bat channel, same bat station, same crazy co-host. Maybe not the host. Well, I think he's crazy too.
It is.
But we'll be back next week, and we'll see you.
Yes,
we
sir.
out.
Peace.
Peace.
just got done listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts at the 3-Point Conversion. And also make sure you check out our website, the3pointconversion.com. Be sure to follow us live and listen every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.